And I couldn't trust him. I couldn't trust this God. And God slowly had to take me in that system and start pointing me to a father's heart. And I'd start learning things about provision. I'd sit in I didn't have money to buy the shy a Coke when we would travel through the Karoo. Nothing. Then you come to a town where you minister to a specific church and they want you to do street work and take up censuses and you really work hard and then at the end of the day they'll just tell head office how bad you were. And I wanted to leave ministry a long time ago. But I trust God for what God has called me to do. Planting a church in Mpangeni was the nicest thing ever. Because all the ministers in Mpangeni just loved me. I was amazed. The NG Dominee stayed right next to our house. One night I was practicing drums. I was so young. I was practicing drums in the church and his wife was angry because of the noise. And she came right into the church and sê, ek gaan vir jou pastoor sê hoe raas jy. I didn't tell her I was a pastor. Oh, sorry Danie. Moet hom asseblief nie sê nie. So this is out. That dominee now is, I met him the other day in the mall. He's retiring now. He's the dominee in Sabi. Yeah, he walked by and said, Eric! But you know what? The most amazing fellowship in Mpangeni. Churches working together. They placed me in charge. We would have an annual song festival and we call it the Zululand Faith Celebration. They placed me in charge of all the bands of all the churches. Combining lovely. Went to Palabora. They started the fraternal to get rid of me. How's that? No fraternal. They start one to get rid of me. So I know what it feels like to be persecuted in church. I don't want you to lick my wounds. I'm just telling you, if you're not in a place where you can trust God, you'll be in a very bad spot when people start persecuting you. You know what was amazing when I came to White River? The assistance and the fellowship of the ministers in White River, almost exactly the same as what I experienced in Mpangeni. So the reason why people don't trust God is because of what they see in church. One of the reasons. I've mentioned the first one is unanswered prayers. Secondly, is this polluted idea of who the God who we believe should be. Shall I by me? Amen. There's reasons why we can't trust God. God is a good Father. Amen. And you know, when God revealed to me the message of righteousness, I've shared this with you. In that season when we adopted Danie, what a roller coaster ride it was to take a black child into your house, living in an RVB town. Yeah, everybody was wearing khaki. Don't need to vote for RVB, but they all wear khaki. Yeah. So I remember the way they treated us because we had this black child. I'll remember it clearly. But you know what the thing is that I remember most of all? I've shared it on a video 2 years ago for Impas. I remember when they came and they gave Danie to us the first time. So when we received the phone call, there's this child, do you want to adopt her? We said yes. We didn't even ask the Lord about it. In our heart, we just acted on the peace that was there. Yes, immediately. And they started the arrangement. And Tashai told the lady at the orphanage, we're going away on holiday. December, we would love to take Danie with us to a RVB family vakansie. So I remember when they came and they delivered Danie at our door. I will never forget that. Today we're going to get this little child. She was almost 8 months old. And I remember the first thing I saw when the Shai opened the door and she was in the arms of this white lady that she knew, that took care of her in this orphanage. And this lady gave Danie's bag, the only things that belonged to her, to Tashai. I remember Tashai's face when she saw Danie. But I will never forget the fear I saw in her eyes, Danie's eyes, when they gave it to us. She grabbed onto that woman with everything that was inside of her. And she didn't want to let go. And she thought, why are you throwing me away? And the shy took her, and she literally like hanging onto that woman into her arms. She didn't trust us. And she needed to eventually trust us. And the same, maybe you feel like this in religion. You feel like you've been handed into something that we don't want to be there, and you don't trust this God. It's not a safe place. I'll never forget the fear in Danie's face. Never. And how we had to influence her with our love to get her to a place where she could eventually trust us. Now I tell you what, if you don't trust God, it is simply because you've not allowed Him to influence you with who He is. You've allowed others to influence you with what they believe He is. Yeah. Yesterday I sat somewhere in this whole gejaag deur mekaar thing, and it's almost as if I heard God saying to me, Danie, your calling is not to convince Christians to be Christians in this group. We try to transfer Christians from one group of Christianity into another group of Christianity. He said, I want you to reach out to unbelievers and get them to believe in me. Yeah. So I remember Danie didn't trust us. And eventually when she could speak and when she could or understand us, I've told the story, but I want to share it this morning. The day that I gave her a bath. You know, at the shy when she gives Danie a bath, or when she did with the girls before, everything would be packed out. Before Danie was safely, or the kids are safely removed out of their chairs. Die viesangpys is daar. Die nuwe doek is daar. Papa poeier is daar. Everything that needs is packed out neatly. And then the soap and the towel, everything is ready. And then she would bath the child. She asked me, could you, for once, bath Danie? I grabbed her, put water in the thing, put Danie in and realized there's nothing to bath the child with. Yeah, that's what happened. Luckily the basin was right next to her, so I grabbed some of a bietjie sunlight and what it was, and I wash her. And when I'm done washing her, now she could, at that stage, she could stand. She could stand, and she would stand, and I had chocolate muffins for her, in her hair, and twee tuintjies, and she's the cutest thing ever. So I bathed her, and when I was done bathing and rinsing off, I realized there's no towel close to me. And our bathroom was big in Palabora. I had to walk 3 meters from there to get the towel in the corner there. So I said to her, moenie val nie, don't fall. They's going to get the towel. And she was standing like this, and she had this funny grin on her face. I grabbed the towel, and as I came back to her, the moment I was this far from her, she jumped back into my arms. And I took the towel and I dived in underneath and I grabbed her. And I realized she trusts me. So I walked her into the room, and that was when God revealed righteousness to us. And both me and Tashai, we had this battle with righteousness. I would preach righteousness. I would hear myself preaching things that I didn't believe. Holy Spirit would take control of my mouth. I would preach this and then I'd think, but I don't believe this, what I'm preaching. Then I want to reverse, but it's too late, it's out. That God has forgiven you 100% completely, and God is not angry at you, and God is not mindful of your sin. I thought, hey, Danie, you really goed sê nie? I would preach this. And then when Danie came into our life, God helped me to understand Him through this girl. You know why? Because she's black. She's black in a man that used to be a racist. I was a racist. I was a racist. But then, that day I walked into the room with her like this, and I threw her onto the bed, and she bounced, and she laughed out of her belly. I took the towel together, the two edges of the towel together, I rolled it up, and I bounced her on the bed, and I said to her, you know what, Danie? I chose you, you didn't choose me. I said, you are not my DNA. You don't look like any one of us. You've got the best stand out of us all. But you don't look like us. You know what I'm doing? I am making you a joint heir in my house. I choose to make you a Van Wyk. And you don't even look like any Van Wyk that I know. I said that. The Shai was busy at the mirror, and we still argued this, but we can't preach this righteousness thing. We can't. And then the Shai asked me, he said, yeah, but Liefie, what van dit? What about this? And what about this? And we would quote scriptures of the influence we received before God revealed the truth of who He really is to us. So I bounced on this bed. I said, what belongs to my daughters, Shani and Kaylee, all the debt we've got.
Daarom is dit nou gedeel in 3.
Yeah, it's now divided in 3. We'll tell Danie later what she allowed herself to get involved in. Now I said to her, you will be a family because I choose that. Everything in my house is yours. You, my child, I will fight for you the same way I'm fighting for all my other children. So I was bouncing her like this. I said, even if you choose to be a prostitute one day, or you choose to turn to drugs and become a drug addict, I don't care. I love you. And I've chosen you, and I've made you mine. Bouncing her like this, she laughed. She had no idea what I was saying. I dropped on the bed and I said, that is exactly what God did for me. In that moment, Tasha was dead quiet in the room, and so was that was a divine moment. That was God speaking through me, saying to me, Danie, you're not a Jew by birth. You're considered to be a dog. But I chose you. Amen. I made you a joint heir. And before I let go of the towel, I said to Danie, if you become a prostitute or a drug addict, whatever you decide to become, or the president of South Africa, or a medical doctor, I don't care. The greatest gift you will ever give me is you sit on my lap, kiss me on my cheek and say, Daddy, thank you for giving me a life. And I said, that is what God did to me. In that moment, when I realized that He chose me, before I could even choose Him, that He loved me before I even loved myself. Romans says that while we were yet sinners, His love was revealed in this, that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. Not when I came right, not when I adapted my behavior and suddenly now I look pleasing and now God is willing to take me. No, He took me while I failed. Why will He, after He took me while I failed, drop me now or turn His back on me after we've got this beautiful relationship as a father and a son? Why would He walk away from me if He didn't walk away from me when I was in the worst state I could ever be, caught up in sin? And I remember in that time, Danie, when she started walking and she could start reason and she could start manipulate. If she couldn't get her way, like there's things, when she didn't get her way, it's like, to her, it's like an unanswered prayer. Daddy, can I have the cookie? No. Daddy, can I do this? No. Unanswered prayer. En sy would walk away en dan sê sy vir my, ek liefies jou nie meer nie. I don't love you anymore. Dan stap sy weg en sê ek, I don't care. I didn't take you because you loved me. I took you because I love you. And even if you don't love me, I love you right back. I don't know where things changed in her life. Don't worry about that. Doesn't matter. I don't know where things changed. But there came a time when Danie stopped saying, I don't love you anymore. And it just turned into, I love you, Daddy. I love you, Daddy. I love you, Daddy. She would kiss me 100 times a day. I love you, Daddy. And you know what happened? If we would go into a public place, into the presence of people that are still stuck in racism, and the way they would look at us, I was willing to lay down my life for that child. You know why? Because I'm a daddy. Now if I'm done with my sermon this morning, if I am willing to take a child into my house, no, I'm not a good father. Not even close. If I'm willing to lay down my life for my children, do you think our Heavenly Father would turn His back on you? So maybe there's reasons why you don't trust Him. We're going to close that. But listen to me, don't let the wind bug you now. Wind, be still. I want you to trust God for who He really is. If you think He failed you in the past, I want you to challenge Him and say, I want to get to know who you really are. I know God will not fail us. Amen? Now we look at the building that we're busy building here, and we look at the disaster that struck us, and the loss of our church building that burned down. And I tell you what, I can write a long list. Thank you for your obedience, Wind. I can write a long list of testimonies how God has already come through for us in every area. Want as hy kom staan iets en raak sy moedeloos en as ons net geld gehad het, it's understandable. But God will supply in all our needs. Why? He said in Hebrews, I will never leave you and I will never forsake you. There's one thing my daughters can bet on, Danie included. I will never turn my back on them, no matter what mistakes they make. I'm not a better father than our Heavenly Father.